Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of Devil's Debate. I'm Fabian and Dom. Joining me as always is Dom Petronio. It's USC week. Let's get some Pac-12 play going.
Yeah,
all right,
finally.
So let's get right into this one. All right, today, what's our biggest hole going to USC?
Well, ASU, I really think everyone's going to point to the defense saying, look how many points he gave up to teams like Cal Poly, and you only gave up 13 to New Mexico. Everyone's going to point to the defense and the offensive scheming. My biggest hole is the wide receiver group, who no one has really stood out of there.
Not many people have been healthy.
Not many people's healthy. Tim White has been out of nowhere, has been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Ellis Jefferson has had very little playing time. Devin Lucien just started showing signs of what he was being able to do before he got hurt against New Mexico. So I'm really trying to find that standout receiver. Everyone knew that was the big hole coming into the season, replacing Jalen Strong, and they still haven't found the solution.
I agree with that one. I think Tim White was a person that I personally thought could do some big things when I saw at Camp T. Had that wrist injury that got him out for the Texas A&M game, but he has a lot of potential and a lot of speed. I think he doesn't get enough credit for being such a good route runner at this point because you haven't gotten a chance to see him that much. Devin Lucien looked better. He should be able to go against USC, but he still is dealing with that injury a little bit, so I'm not sure how much of an impact he'll have.
And that's where I think we see more of Ellis Jefferson this weekend.
Possibly, and then I think DJ Foster needs to get the ball more in wide receiver situations. They tried making an emphasis after Texas A&M to getting the ball in general. Sometimes it's at running back out of a need, but I think that's a spot that DJ Foster needs to start getting more touches down the field in open space.
Well, he's not going to be the kind of guy that's going to run a 12-yard post and be wide open. He's going to run quick slants and depend on everything after the catch, though, isn't he?
He is, but if you get him that ball in situations where he's moving forward instead of little quick bubble screens or little jet sweeps, give him that chance to have that forward momentum, pick up some big yardage plays.
What's your big hole that they need to assess?
It's still the offensive line. I think that playing two teams with not great pass rushes these last couple of weeks might have started to qualm those fears about that offensive line, but it's still the same team that gave up 9 sacks against Texas A&M. There's still issues.
It's still the best front four they're going to face all season.
Possibly, but USC has a pretty solid front four, and they have probably the best pass rush they've faced, and probably one of the best pass rushes they will face this season.
Maybe Myles Garrett was the tune-up before facing USC.
Possibly, but the thing is, you still have these injuries, and you're still not sure about a lot of positions. Those 3 tackles that are rotating in between Sam Jones, Evan Goodman, and Billy McGee, they're still not entirely set on where their offensive line is going to be, and that's a big issue if you're practicing and you don't know who your outside tackles are going to be, especially if you're a guy like Christian Westerman or Vita Filo. You don't know who you're going to communicate with outside, especially if they're switching in and out during the game.
Let's go to the more injury news. Well, not so much injury anymore because Kevin Blage, over his illness of mononucleosis, and now he's going to be available this weekend. And also we got to keep an eye on Deshaun Hayes. Gump Hayes has availability this weekend. It wasn't available last week. Blage hasn't played a snap all season. How much activity are these guys going to have this weekend?
Well, first of all, I'm glad to see that Kalen Blage is back healthy. I think mono's an issue that it depends on the person. And for him to come back this quickly and even be available this weekend is amazing. But Blage will probably be limited. I don't think you're going to try to give him that many touches. It's going to be more situational stuff. Gump is a guy that you're going to want to get in there and have some impact plays because he's the guy who got hyped a lot entering the season, and then A&M didn't have the best performance. Had a couple glimpses against Cal Poly, but then he got hurt. You want to have him possibly get an explosive play as a kick returner. You want to get him involved in the passing game, but in situations where he can use that speed against USC instead of those quick little bubble screens where, let's face it, the wide receivers out there aren't going to block very well on those bubble screens, and they got blown up a lot.
Makes sense. And I think with Gump Hayes, though, with him coming back, it eases the load a little bit on Foster. They can rotate in the slot. Hayes doesn't have to take carries because Blage is back. That's what happened to Texas A&M. Gump Hayes is not going to be a downhill runner. While he is freakish speed, he has to be side to side. He has to be outside the tackle box. He has to be in open space to create plays. He can't go between the tackles, and that's exactly what they tried to do. It's not going to work. Him being in the slot, opening up jet sweeps and bubble screens to him, maybe a fake to him and DJ Foster's open in over the middle, something like that. Cody Cole's been great too. That'll open up his play as well, and he doesn't have so much pressure as to blocking anymore, as with Blage is much more of a power runner. Even though now Demario Richard has trimmed his game to be more of a power runner, I think Blage is even more so if he is 100% healthy. I think you will take if he's 80% healthy this week. And they will love that against USC.
I say he maxes out at about 10 touches, and that's fine. If you could just have that element of being able to use Balaj, that itself should allow you to open up your playbook even more, which I think is something that Mike Norvell hasn't gotten a chance to do yet. He hasn't gotten a chance to really dial up his playbook the way he's wanted to do. That's part of the reason why this offense has been sputtering. But let's go to a team that from a team that hasn't necessarily performed to expectations to a team that's exceeded expectations. ASU volleyball. Big win yesterday over number 14 U of A after a big win against number 6 Illinois. Do you think this is the best team on campus?
Right now it is. Absolutely. I mean, it's the best start since
12-0.
1976. 12-0, they beat the Wildcats, who was not a bad team. They're 14th ranked in the country.
No slouch.
No slouch. They beat Illinois, a top 10 opponent last year, and this is the highest ranking ever, number 7. You look at it, they really could be in the top 5 next weekend.
Which is incredible, if you told me that before the season.
But here's the crazy thing, though. People haven't given them any notice, but when you think back, they didn't lose a single starter from last season.
They did not. And
that's why they're being so successful.
They had a solid recruiting class, too. They had a couple really good freshmen.
Pickrell has been incredible. You think
especially in the press. In the
press room.
Yeah.
She's going to be the heir to the throne that Macy Gardner is going to be leaving. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch ASU volleyball the next few weeks. Did you watch that game last night on Pac-12 Networks? It was loud
exciting.
in Wells Fargo.
It was like 2,011 students in there.
I think
new record.
It was louder in there than it was for a men's basketball game that I've been to.
Well, that's not saying much after the last
I'm just saying. Like, it's incredible to see the school rally around this team. Volleyball never gets that much credit, even though it is an Olympic sport. There are some great players on this team, and they're finally getting the recognition they deserve.
Yeah, and they're in a tough conference for volleyball, Pac-12, and now as they're getting to Pac-12 play, I think they're going to be tested. But I think if they pick up a couple big wins like this more, like throughout the season, they're going to really turn some heads and really possibly challenge for much more than what they were expected to do before the season.
Well, how about we go to another sport that doesn't get a lot of love, but it's starting to. ASU hockey. We love talking about these guys.
The newest sport.
Greg Powers had his introductory press conference on Monday. Season opens a week from a week from tomorrow against U of A at Gila River Arena on October 3rd. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. What is an average, or what is a realistic outlook of this season in their first D1 season?
I think Penn State won 16 games their first Division I season. I think that's sort of a benchmark that I know Greg Powers has. I think one thing he definitely said is he wants to be the most successful startup Division I hockey program of all time. I'm not sure how many NCAA games they're going to win that first season, though.
Right.
I think they should clear out at least a majority of their ACHA games.
They should win every single one.
They should, but ACHA plays unpredictable.
Yeah, exactly, but they should win every single one.
They should, and that should guarantee you about 8 to 9 wins at least. If you pick up maybe 1 or 2 unexpected wins in NCAA play, and
like a Yale or a Quinnipiac.
Yes, and then take care of business, I wouldn't put 16 wins out of the question, but it's also almost a stretch because you're not sure how some of these ACHA guys are going to develop to the next level. I think that players like Leon Norris are more than capable of playing at the next level, but it's still not certain until you see them on the ice.
The thing that I love about this team, though, is that Greg Powers decided to assign his leadership staff. None of them are assistants. They are all captains. They will all wear the C on their chest. How cool is that?
It's a new program, and he wants to start a new tradition, and that's their new tradition. They want to be the tradition, and they want to focus on, hey, these 3 guys are going to be the centerpieces. It's no Leon Norris is the face of this program. No, it's a whole program that's trying to make an impact on this university and on NCAA hockey, especially on the West Coast.
Here, bonus question before we head into Pac-12 Pick'em here. Back to football real quick. Who is under more pressure this week, USC or ASU?
From their fans or from national media?
Anyone. Who is under more pressure?
USC.
I agree.
USC has more to lose. I think a lot of ASU fans have already, in a way, sort of put a small check to the season being almost over. Just from their expectations at the beginning of the season, USC fans are nuts, man. I think it was Matt Liner went on Colin Cowherd's show and said, if they go 9-3, Steve Sarkisian should be fired. That it's unacceptable, which is fair if you look at the talent that they brought in.
And you look at the non-conference slate. Other than Notre Dame, they have not played anybody. Notre Dame's going to be the one annual game, but other than that, Idaho, are you serious?
Arkansas State.
They paid them millions of dollars to come play them.
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. I agree. USC is under a lot more pressure because they lose this game. They have lost 2 Pac-12 games, and that effectively eliminates them from Pac-12 South contention, and that eliminates them from national contention, and it's over.
And ASU started the season ranked, but USC was number 6 entering the season.
They lose this week. They're unranked.
I would not be surprised by that. And I think ASU possibly jumps into that top 20 if they pick up a win.
Absolutely.
Without doubt. And I think it's actually pretty ironic compared to last year where ASU was sort of in the same spot trying to get back into the hunt against USC. Not saying anything's going to happen.
Hail Mary.
Who catches it this year?
If anyone is going to catch a Hail Mary, I'd love a tip drill to Cody Kill. I'd love that.
My pick's EJ. Ellis Jefferson.
Okay.
All right, let's get into the Pac-12 pick'em though. The first game is Friday night game, Stanford, Oregon State. Who you got?
Stanford. They look really good against USC.
Good.
If you can't go.
It's wrong. Good Kevin Hogan versus bad Kevin Hogan, but Oregon State's just not that good this year. I think Stanford picks up the win. College game day, UCLA, Arizona.
Wow, I've gone back and forth on this all week long. I'm worried about the defense of U of A, but I'm worried about the defense of UCLA with the loss of Miles Jack. Everyone's talking about that.
Also, Fabian Moreau.
Yeah, the zone is going to be rocking. I'm picking U of A in this one. I think this is the annual UCLA could win, doesn't win, underwhelming game.
Well, the last, I think, 3 times U of A has debuted a new helmet, they lost.
Oh, right. They have those new ugly ones.
Going based off that one, I'm going with UCLA. Okay. Chosen Rosen picks up the win.
I think he's going to have a good game, though.
I think he does. I think he has a bounce-back game. And then Nicholls State, Colorado.
Colorado.
All right.
No need.
No non-conference win for Nicholls State?
Colorado.
I'm going to go with Colorado, too. They've looked a little bit better than a lot of people expected to enter the season.
Ron Ralphie.
They've had a pretty good year. Cal versus Washington.
This is going to be a fun game. I think a lot of people are going to underestimate this game because UW is off to the slower start that they are. Cal's going to win this game, but I still think UW is going to give them a run for their money in the third quarter.
Oh, without a doubt. I think Cal picks up the win only because I don't think Washington can score enough points.
Right.
I think Cal can't play that much defense, but Washington's offense just does not look good this year. Defensively, they look fine. They're decently coached. Chris Peterson's done a good job with that program so far, but they just can't move the ball enough.
No way.
Utah, Oregon.
This is another one I'm going back and forth on. We talked about this. Oregon's not going to lose 2 games this early in the season, can they? Or can
I don't
they?
think they do.
Can they?
Yeah. Vernon Adams Jr. back.
I think it's in Oregon. If it was in Utah, I would totally be picking Utah. I'm going to pick Oregon.
I'm going Oregon. I'll agree with you on that one, just because you have Vernon Adams back, you're in Autzen, and I don't trust Utah's quarterback situation, especially not on the road.
Right, exactly.
All right, the game of the week, rallies for us, USC, ASU.
The funny thing is, Nick Kruger, our friend here on Rivals, said that pundits for both SC are picking ASU, and pundits for ASU are picking SC. I don't even know what to think of it. I really think, and right now ASU is a 5.5 point underdog at home. I think that's kind of a little high. I think they should be underdogs, but I don't think they should be. I think it should be like 2.5 point underdogs.
Yeah,
like that
should be closer. These teams are really similar.
They really are. I'm gonna go the Maroon Monsoon. They're undefeated in the Maroon Monsoon. I'm gonna go ASU.
It's a toss up to me, really, because I'm not really sure how to go on this one. Because USC has better top line talent, but they don't have the depth. But the biggest thing that changed my decision, coaching. Todd Graham can now coach Steve Sarkisian.
He just got extended.
Without doubt. I think because of that reason, ASU picks up the win, gets back into the top 25.
We'll see what's going to happen. I don't think Sarkisian's going to be fired on his way back to LAX.
I don't think so. I think his seat will be a little bit hotter, though.
It'll be a little warmer.
And that wraps up Season 2, Episode 2 of Devil's Debate. For Dominic Catronio, I'm Fabian and Dom. Tune in next week for more coverage on Rivals.com.